Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, better known as Dr. Vaughn. It is my privilege and my honor just to be with you today, just to share a little bit of empowerment and strength, because we all need some. A couple of weeks ago, when I actually decided, and I was praying to the Lord as we begin these empowerment talks about what should I share, the first thing the Lord shared with me was that the statement of, I am not what happened to me. Because that's a personal place of where God has actually been dealing with me. And then on last week, I took a leadership master's class with Dr. Matthew Stevenson, and he made a profound statement that was life-changing for me. And the statement said, it matters where you come from, but it doesn't matter where you come from. That stuck with me, and I knew that was confirmation that the topic for today would be, I am not what happened to me. Many of us have been through so many things in life where we found ourselves suffering from betrayal, abandonment, molestation, abuse, heartbreak, agony, disappointment, failures. So many things that we have all encountered. But there's the thing about it is sometimes it affects our mindset as far as us going forward. And sometimes it hinders us and clouds us from being able to embrace that which is to come. And so today I wanted to come and empower somebody that you are not what happened to you. I know it was hurtful. I know it was painful. I know it seemed like the worst part of your life. However, you are not what happened to you. Ask yourself this question. Are you struggling with the effects of your past, the disappointments? Then this live is for you. If you are limited by distrust and you have fear and anxiety about letting people in, then this live is for you. If you feel like your past keeps clutching on your heels and you can't seem to move forward, then this live is for you. Trust me, I understand. I know where you are. I've been through the disappointment. I've been through the betrayal. I've been through the mishandling of people. I've been through those who were supposed to care for me dropping the ball and not actually measuring up to the titles they had in my life. But also, I've even been there where I've let my own self down. And you can attest that you've done the same. But even in that, we still have the ability to push past that which has happened to us and embrace that which is to come. Listen, think about it. Defining being tied to our past and allowing our past to dictate our future is like putting on a garment that just doesn't fit. Think about it. Come on, ladies, I know you can relate to it, trying to squeeze into those pants that just don't fit. You are uncomfortable. You can get in them, but it just does not feel, and you're in a place of agony as you try to wear that. But being tied to your past is just like having on an outfit that just doesn't fit. It is time today for you to change your garment, to put on that new garment of healing, wholeness, and freedom. That new garment of liberation, that new garment where your past no longer holds you hostage. See, some of us, I should say, have been suffering from what I call mistaken identity. What does that mean? Now, you're probably saying, Dr. Vaughn, what in the world do you mean mistaken identity? Some of us are living in the shadow of what happened to us. Because we were molested as children, we're living in the mistaken identity that we're damaged goods. Because we were overlooked for that promotion, we're living in the mistaken identity that we're not good enough. Because we weren't able to finish our degree, we are living in the mistaken identity that we're not smart enough. Because that relationship failed, we are living in the mistaken identity that we are not good enough to have a good relationship. Because of that betrayal and that friendship, we are living in the mistaken identity that we don't deserve good friendship. This is where this has to break. No longer will you live in the mistaken identity of that which has happened to you, but now you're going to live in the identity of what God said for you. We don't have to be stuck to what happened. We don't have to be stuck to what was, because here's the thing. It does not matter. It does not, listen, our past shape us, but our past does not dictate where our future comes. There are some things that we developed out of the hurt and the pain that we endured and out of the misfortunes that we encountered. There are some tools and there are some strengths that we developed. However, they do not dictate where we can go, who we can be with, how strong we could be, how successful we are. They do not dictate this. So therefore, you have to break free. You have to break free from that place. You have to break free from those feelings. You have to break free. See, you are the one that is responsible for your happiness. You are the one that is responsible for your happiness. I'll say it again. You are the one that is responsible for your happiness. Today, I want you to take responsibility. Today, I want you to take responsibility for your happiness. Today, I want you to grab a hold of your own destiny and realize, look at that past thing and realize you will no longer have power over where I'm going. You will no longer cause me to fear, to push past. You will no longer keep me bound to where I was or what happened to me. Because here's the thing, I can't change it. But however, I know my future is greater. See, you have to embrace the real you. Even the pain, even the scars, even the wounds. But here's the thing, when you embrace them, you have to remove the power, that they no longer have power. They're just a reminder of what you overcame. Think about it. The mere fact that you are living today is an indication that you survived what happened. So the enemy has you thinking that you're not good enough, but you survived. The enemy has you thinking that you're not strong enough, but you survived. The enemy has you thinking that you are not powerful enough, but you survived. See, we want to look at what happened, but let's look at the fact of the matter is it happened years ago and I'm still here. I still got my right mind when I thought I was going to lose it. I'm still here to give it another try. So therefore, it did not have the power that I thought that it had over me. Because here's the thing. We oftentimes will get stuck because we have these expectations of people that they never had the capacity to fulfill. And so we have these feelings where we feel like we were let down, but the problem is that those people never had the capacity to be what we needed them to be. So sometimes we also have to look and realize that some of it is us. It's not just the person that did it to me, but some of it is also my decision. But whether it is that somebody wronged you, whether or not you let yourself down, no matter what that contributing factor is, the reality of it is that I am not what happened to me. Just because it happened to me does not mean that that's the end for me. Just because it happened to me does not mean it's over for me. Just because it happened to me does not mean that that is it. So I wanted to give you some tips as we go through this lunchtime empowerment with Dr. Vaughn. I wanted to give you some tips so that you can actually begin your journey of transformation, your journey of empowerment, your journey of letting the past go. So here's the first thing. The first thing that I want you to realize is your present experience. It's what's keeping the stronghold of your past. Your present experience is what's keeping the stronghold of your past. What do I mean? Shift your perspective. Shift your perspective. Move your perspective from victim to victor. Move your perspective from what happened to how you conquered it. The past cannot be changed. However, how you view the past does matter. The past cannot be changed, but how I view what happened to me will determine how I embrace my future. Let me tell you something. I have a lot of things from grief to abandonment to mishandlement to abuse and misuse and everything that it's a part of my past. But let me tell you something. If I focus on those things, instead of looking at those things as building blocks that made me who I am today, I will get stuck in what happened to me rather than allowing what happened to me to catapult me into where I'm going. I use those stepping stones and I look in those seasons to find out, what did I learn in that season? What did I acquire in that season? I learned to love me some me in that season. I actually learned the resilience that I have. I learned the power that I possess. But had I not have gone through those things, I would never know how strong I am. So I've changed my lens and I've changed my perception on looking at it as the worst thing that ever happened to me to looking at it as it was just a part of my journey that built me up to where I am today. So the first thing you have to do is shift your perspective. The second thing, healing requires letting go. I'm going to say it again. Healing requires letting go. You have to neutralize from your story of the past so you don't allow it to fuel your future. Be okay without the apology. Be okay without them admitting that they were wrong. Be okay with them never saying that they are sorry. Be okay with them never even thinking that they were wrong. Healing requires letting go. Today, I challenge one of you watching this today to let it go. You may never understand why they did it. You may never get the apology because they did it. You may never get them to even acknowledge the fact that they were wrong. But I challenge you today to let go the stronghold that keeps you bound, that keeps you repeating the cycle over and over and over and over again in your mind. I challenge you today to let it go. The third thing is take responsibility for your own release. I want you to take responsibility for your own release. What are you saying, Dr. Vaughn? Your happiness is your responsibility. Your happiness is not anyone else's responsibility but yours. You have to be the top priority in your life. Your destiny has to be the top priority in your life. You have to recognize your own internal landscape that keeps you suffering and uprooted. Let me say it again. You have to recognize your own internal landscape that keeps you tied to your suffering. Dig it up and uproot it. I'll say it again. You have to recognize your own internal landscape that keeps you tied to the sufferings of your past. Dig it up and uproot it. If you uproot it, it can no longer grow. If you uproot it, it no longer has life. If you uproot it, it can no longer be present in your garden of destiny. I challenge you to search your internal landscape, find that thing that keeps you tied to this suffering, dig it up, uproot it, and throw it away. Take responsibility for your own release. The next thing, untangle your thoughts and your feelings concerning what you've been through. Snatch your power back and live. Too oftentimes, our mind becomes our battleground for what has happened to us, and the enemy will play over and over and over again in our minds, telling us that we are not good enough, telling us that it was our fault, telling us that we'll never recover, telling us and making us replay over the events of what happened to us. But you have to untangle your own thoughts and your feelings. If that means writing out some declarations to yourself and declaring them every day, declarations and affirmations. Sometimes you got to speak to yourself until yourself understands yourself. Say it again. Sometimes you got to speak to yourself until yourself understands yourself. Every day you have to speak life to yourself. Every day you have to speak power to yourself. Every day, every day, every day. I don't care if you feel like it. Put a post-it up and read it. Because this is not about your feelings. This is about what you know. You know that you are greater. You know that you are better. You know that you are more. You know that you are stronger. This is not about what I feel. And I will no longer allow my feelings to control what I know. So I'm going to untangle my thoughts concerning what has happened to me, and pull myself back, pull my power back to let it know, whatever that it is, let it know that the power belongs to me. I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to live. No longer am I living beneath my privileges because my mind is clouded by something that happened to me 5 years ago. No longer am I going to be entangled in my thoughts and my feelings by a failure of what I didn't accomplish 2 years ago. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of me focusing on the fact that I failed 2 years ago, I'm going to look at what happened 2 years ago, revamp. I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to realize that I learned from my failure, and now I'm going to produce. Do you see how the perspective changes? I no longer look at the fact that I failed, but I evaluated where I failed so that I don't do it this time. And now I come to birth and bring forth. What does that do? That snatches back my power from what was happening to me. It snatches back my power from what I was frustrated in. The next thing and the last thing is, I need you to connect to the real and total you. Sometimes our past makes us put on a facade and makes us put on a costume to appear to people ways that we really aren't. So you have to connect to the real and true you. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And know that even with your issues and your flaws, God made you incredible. God made you incredible. God made you incredible. He made you stronger than you think. He made you stronger than what you're up against. He made you stronger than what you've been through. He's made you stronger than what you may be coming up against. You have to embrace yourself and say, even with my flaws, I know God still has something great for me. I know I haven't done everything right, and neither have you. I know I've fallen short along the way, and so have you. But guess what? Just because I failed, just because I was wounded, just because somebody dropped me, just because somebody broke my heart, just because somebody abandoned me, just because someone betrayed my friendship, just because I let my own self down does not mean that I am no longer who God created me to be. And so I am connecting, and I challenge you to do the same, to connect to the real and true you. Can't nobody be you better than you. And so I challenge you today. You are not what you've been through. Do not allow what you've been through to hold power over you. Do not allow what you've been through to keep you bound and keep you subjected to your feelings of frustration and agony. Be free today. Start your journey of transformation today, so that we can unlock the treasures that God has already put in you that have been suppressed by what has happened to you. There's so much greatness in you that God is trying to bring out of you. And today your transformation can begin. I challenge you. I am grateful just to be here, to be able to deposit into you just a little bit of strength, because we all need strength at some point in time. Nobody is invincible from needing strength. Nobody is invincible from needing power. We all need it. And so today I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity just to share with you just a little lunchtime talk, a little lunchtime empowerment talk with Dr. Vaughn, where we are growing together. We are building a tribe of transformers, where we are unlocking the treasures that God himself has put in us. Nothing will hinder us. Nothing will hinder us any longer, but we will be free and we will walk in all that God has for us. I hope that you've been empowered today. I hope that you've been strengthened today. I hope that you've gotten something today. And I hope that you will join me next Tuesday, right here, same place, same time, Tuesday at 1 p.m. for lunchtime empowerment talks with Dr. Vaughn, where we just deposit a couple of nuggets for you to take along your journey as we become better. Because nobody can be us better than us. And so here it is. Invite someone, like and share. Invite them to come and be empowered so that we all can be better. For we're not just better when we become whole, but we're better when our brothers and our sisters become whole. I'm excited to share with you, and I hope that you will join me next week, Tuesday at 1 p.m. for lunchtime empowerment talks with Dr. Vaughn. Have an amazing day, but most of all, have an amazing start to your journey of transformation. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.